Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Meditation series. As always, every Monday we have a special guest speaker. They get to share their personal and unique journey on the spiritual path. And today we have with us Sister Neena. She has been with Baba for over 2 decades, and she has started her journey back in New Zealand. She has been a scientist, coming from a scientific background. She has her own personal challenges, and at the same time, she has this unique experiences that a scientific mind cannot comprehend, and that helped her to come closer to Baba. Sister Neena is going to share how to thrive in these times of uncertainty. Welcome.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Good evening. So thank you for this opportunity to meet with the family and to get to share some of my experiences being with Brahma Kumaris, knowing Baba, and how it helped me in my personal experiences in my journey. And I hope I can make some justice to the topic that you gave. We all have our challenges in life, and we try to solve them in our own way. But when we have somebody who is a strong support, it is a difference between day and night. And that is what I wanted to share today with everybody. So thank you for this opportunity. I usually don't like to share my stories because everyone has got story, and I rather focus on our knowledge and grow rather than talk about us humans. As we all know, we love to talk about Baba, we like to know more, we like to learn more. So I'm hoping that a little bit of information about myself and the journey might just give you some tips. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I'll just share what I have experienced and what has helped me. So it's sort of a lovely family chit chat that I would like to do, and I'd like to hear back from you too, so I'll start now. As Harsha Bhai mentioned, I began this journey in New Zealand, and more than 20 years ago when I was there. And I belong to a scientific background. So those who have been in science, and I know many of us know that science is sometimes a mislabel, that, we have no heart and we just go by what is science saying. But that's not true. And I really liked nature. And I love New Zealand for its nature. And I really had a very good time with my husband at that time. And my son was born in New Zealand, and he was really little. And unfortunately, my husband left his body, and I was alone. I was working as a scientist there. It's called as Crown Research Institute. And I worked there for some time, and I took some time off because my son was really little, and I had placed the priority of being a mother. And so it was not easy. When you have a little child, you need more than two hands. But I had lost the two hands that would help me too. My family from India came to help, but of course, they can stay only for a certain time. And so my mother-in-law, my parents, stayed with me for some time, but then I had to begin my journey on my own with my little son. And at that time, for some reason, when I took some time off, I joined another place, and it's a most of you know, it was a Unilever company. And I met a friend there. And during lunch, I would not smile much. I'm quite person. I like to, at that time, that was more, I would like to be by myself. And she came and she asked me, how I was doing and everything. And then she called me to the center. And being a scientist, I did not believe in going to any guru or anything like that. So obviously, I just said to her, sorry, I don't go to places where there are gurus and all that. I don't believe in human gurus. I believe in God, but I don't believe in human gurus. And she smiled and she said, we don't have any guru. And she said, just come and visit us. So, of course, I was very skeptical. And I said, sure, just like everybody. And I tried to avoid going. But she was very persistent. She would call me on Thursdays. She would call me on Mondays. And one day when I was a little late for my son's school and I'd left early, I said, okay, I'll go with you. And I went to the center, and as I stepped into the center, that was my first time, I felt a sudden calm feeling. It was as if everything was just right. I felt so calm and I felt myself. That was a very different feeling. And then I sat in Baba's room at that time. She told me, and I saw Brahma Baba's photo. And unfortunately, at that time, my father had left his body too. And I saw Brahma Baba's photo and I started crying because he resembled so much like my Lokik father without, my father didn't have a mustache and Brahma Baba's photo had a mustache. And so she looked at me and she said, it's okay, you can cry. I was trying to go out of the room. And she said, it's okay. And I was like, oh, they allow us to cry in this room. And after that, she started showing me around the center. And of course, there was Dadi Gulzar's picture there. And it was, of course, Bab Dada. And I looked at that picture and I said, oh, I know, I've seen her somewhere. And I kept looking at that picture. And there were a few sisters at that time in the center, and they all smiled at each other. And of course, I didn't understand at that time. And they said, one of them was very optimistic. She said, you're going to come back. And I said, if I can, I'll try, because I was very skeptical. And so I left. But as the drama is, and as all of us know, I did go back. And I really started liking going to the place. I would go for some time and then I would come back. And she said, let's start a course with you. And without hesitation, I agreed. And I started going for 7 days regularly. And there was a sister who was from US, and she said, do you know who you are? And my first response was, I'm a soul. And she said, you belong here. And that was the beginning. And then I completed the course and I was with Brahma Kumaris. It was very wonderful. And it was closer to time of Bap Dada's season. And so they invited me, I was into Murli. And then they invited me for Bap Dada's meeting, first Bap Dada's meeting. And being New Zealand, the time difference, Bap Dada would come at 2:30 in the morning. And without any hesitation, I just went. I even left my little son at home and I had good neighbors. So I let them know the previous night and they said, not to worry, we'll take care. And I went for Bap Dada's meeting and I was just glued. I was just glued to the television and I watched Bap Dada. And when I was coming home, tears were rolling down my eyes as if I had everything that Bab Dada said was so touching to my heart. And I came home, and I think that was my first time that I said, I'm going to go regularly to this place. That was my beginning to Brahma Kumaris. And I obviously went every time. And Sister Bhavna, she came back from a Fiji tour. By that time, the Indian sisters there had made me so much welcome and so much love. The first thing I think now, I go back and I think there was a lot of love. They poured their love. It was so much of love, so much of understanding. They made me at home, feel me, I felt as if I was at home. And every moment there was so much of loveful feeling I could experience that. So I think the experience of love is what I got first thing, even before knowledge. I would emphasize on the love and the oneness that I felt with them. That is what I think I felt more close to that family. And after a few days, I started going regularly. But one Thursday I didn't go, and Bhavna Bain called me and she said, "You didn't come today's Thursday. Usually." I said, I had work and I had to go. So she just joked with me and she said, "You didn't come to Baba, Baba will come to you." And I just took it lightly, and I spoke with her very respectfully, and then I hung up. And I was busy in kitchen trying to prepare something for my son. And my son called out to me and he said, "Mom, there's somebody at the door." We had a deck which would open up and we could see the sunrise, moonrise, and it was evening. So I had left the windows open. We could see a beautiful view. We were on a hilltop. And that person, he was of course he was New Zealander, was really tall and he was wearing white clothes. And he just smiled and he just raised his hand, and that's all that he did. And I was the one who was speaking to him. I kept on saying, "Have you lost the address? This is where I live." And, I started giving him directions thinking he's probably lost his way. But he just smiled, he looked at me, and then he just gave a blessing hand, and that was it. He just went away. And after he had gone, something in me, I suddenly remembered Bhavna Bain's words. And because I was very sensitive at the time, I was like, oh, I couldn't focus for a long time. But after that day, I started going every day, and in fact, every Thursday to center. So that was my beginning to the center. And I attribute that to the love and of course, Baba's knowledge, and then going to Murli, trying to understand Murli. It was wonderful family. At that time, where I was in Wellington, the family was very close-knit. It was just like home, and lot of love. And they would explain if I had any questions. They would explain it to me very well, and I would get satisfaction. Being a scientist, the same scientist who had said, to my mom when we were in Kanpur in India, my mom asked me when I'd gone for my Ph.D. research and I'd gone to IIT. My mom had accompanied me and she wanted me to go to Varanasi where there's Ganga. And she asked me if I would like to take a dip in Ganga so that I would become pure. And being a scientist, my obvious answer was, water doesn't make you pure, so I'm not going to come there. And to a person who was so much science-based, it was amazing how Baba held me by my hand. he actually found me, and I feel very fortunate. In a very small town, in a very small country, he came looking for me and he found me. And so patiently, so lovingly, um, I was nurtured, taken care of. He was holding my hand. He explained me. I feel it was all Baba. And that's how I got more and more involved with Brahma Kumaris there. And I started participating. And the more I got involved, the more I felt interested, the more I understood Murli. And I even started participating in all their um, small outreach efforts, their exhibitions. I enjoyed every moment, and I learned a lot. Every time they read Murli, they would meet for at least 5 or 10 minutes. And it was just like home, it was like family, just as we sit around the dinner table. They would all discuss, just as we share points here now, they would actually discuss Murli and actually tell stories, how to use a point, how they have used in your life. And so it was like everything was so much similar to what I was going through. And I thought, oh yeah, this might help me, this might help me. And so Saturdays and Sundays was wonderful time. Of course, during the week, it was not that easy. We all had to go to work. But Saturdays, Sundays was a time that we really enjoyed. And there was more like family. But as drama had to play, I had to come to US, and I came, and I was in Indianapolis to start with, and I was new. There was no center there, and it's amazing. I had Baba's room, and there was my neighbor, one of the neighbors who was from Nepal. She looked at the ring that I was wearing and she said, Om Shanti. And I was so happy. So we both would sit and meditate. And one good friend from here would send me Murlis because I had come to San Francisco first, met Chandru Didi at that time, Sister Elizabeth. And then one of the sisters didn't have Google. We did have internet, but we didn't have Google. And we definitely didn't have Murlis as we have now. So I would wait for hard copies. But I also bought with me hard copies of Murlis from New Zealand. They had given me booklets. You know how we have the books, 1969, 1970 books of Murlis. And I would read. And that's the time actually I realized that Murli had answer for everything. I went through a lot of up and downs because coming to a new place with only Shiv Baba and my son and 2 bags was not easy. And I had a lot of challenges. I met people, and I was pretty naive. So I had met people that, there are different types of people we meet in life. So it was not always easy, but Baba's Murli, and I kept holding on to the Murlis and Baba's knowledge and kept continuing. And fortunately for me, UC Berkeley called me here, and Sac State, I started teaching in Sac State. And so I was here in California, and then I got associated with the California Center. So that has been my journey, and it has been wonderful with the family here. There have always been ups and downs. It's not an easy path, as we know. I had my son to take care of his school, and he's now grown up and doing well, but I owe everything to Baba. He kept holding my hand tight and guiding me all the way through. And I would say, even in my lowest times, I know it's not that easy to remember Baba. We say, okay, I'll sit and remember Baba. But when you're really down and really not in a very good place, it's Baba. that holds your hand, and I think it's Murli. I would at least read 2 lines of Murli and I would feel so much better. So I have full faith in Baba, of course, but also, as Baba says, everything is in Murli. And so I pay a lot of attention even now. And I think I've shared with some of you that during the day, I at least try and listen 3 times to the Murli in one form or the other. Of course, it's a center Murli. I really enjoy that. And then afterwards, if there are no meetings or whatever, there's always Murli going on. I'm listening to it. And before I go to bed. So yeah, Murli is the answer. I even will never forget one of our close VK friends had even shared some cassettes with me when I came new here and I was going through a really difficult time. And one of the cassettes had Baba's Murli, Abhyak Bab Dada's Murli, but also Sakar Baba's Murli. And Baba said in that, I was driving to work, and at that time my car had a cassette player, and I actually stopped my car because I really pulled over, because something that Baba said in the cassette, and I never ever forget. Baba said that, he, as he calls us, children, he said, I have come to, by knowing me, you will know yourself. And remember that it's me, I am the God speaking to you. And something went like a current in my hands and feet, and I couldn't drive. I had to pull over. And I used to teach at Sac State at that time. And I pulled over and I was just frozen. I kept on listening to that sentence, and tears were rolling down my eyes, even at that time. And I said, that's the time I realized I'm so fortunate. God is by my side, and now nothing is difficult. And He did make me a victorious soul. I feel that there are victories in little steps. And every step that I took with Him, I did become victorious. And that has been my faith, Baba and Baba's Murli. And of course, our family, who has always been there. I have had good times. I have had different times in my life, but always, I think our strong foundation is, of course, remembrance of Baba, Murli, and our family. So I definitely, and I still continue. I watch when I can. I definitely watch the recordings of Sister Mohini, but if I can, I even listen to live when I can, if my work allows me to. But there are so many times that Baba's Murli's words, even if we focus on one point of Murli every day, that has been my effort, that I focus on one point of Murli, and I try to use it as much as I can. So, and it has helped. And my family, my friends say that I've been a 180-degree person ever since I've been in Gyan. So it is nice that others see the difference. And not that I was not good. I've always been good, but I was I wasn't so patient. I would want things to happen in my way, sort of in an organized way. And I was very sensitive. If somebody said something to me, tears would start rolling down my eyes. And I wouldn't talk to that person for maybe a few days. But I think coming into Gyan, and I have slowed down. I understand. I take my time. And I know that now we know drama. Every every action that happens, there's a reason, and we know why Baba puts us where we are. We always have a role to play in drama. And once I came into Gyan, I stopped asking my question, saying to myself, why me? When things were not going the right way, I would always ask myself, why me? I don't ask that question anymore. And also, I think that it is so important to think every time we do any action, how karma, even in our thoughts, this gyan is so wonderful. It makes me think again and again, even before I say a word to anybody, because we now know that the thoughts also, there is karma, even in our thoughts. And it's the knowledge has changed us so much. We know what we were, what we are becoming, or why we are here now. And the more and more we know knowledge, like I think it was yesterday's Murli, that Baba says that you are the first of my creation, and when you become golden, everything around us becomes golden. You know, we have heard this for so many times, and I think I shared this point after Murli yesterday. It just struck me yesterday how important our role is. Baba we are so fortunate. Baba has chosen us, and among multi-million people, and if we change, we become like deities from now. We can bring the deity world. It's on us. That's a huge responsibility. And it, even though we hear Murli again and again and again every day, and Baba reminds us, I mean, the Murlis that he spoke, 20, 30, Abhyakt Murlis, 20, 30 years ago are still valid today. It's amazing how we are still working on ourselves. But I think this journey has been wonderful. I have enjoyed every minute, and I still enjoy, and I look forward actually. How can I improve myself more? How can I apply it? And there have been many, many stories that I've applied it at work, at home, with my son. Even though he has gone to children's Baba's classes, there are times we all go out in the world, and we face a lot of things, but Baba's knowledge is so helpful. We remind ourselves with that, and we pause, we think, and we use it. And when we use it, we are the happiest people. There's so much joy when we see somebody, even just our smile. I mean, I have come across people who have had really bad day, and they come back later on to say, your smile changed my day. And we never even know. We just do regular actions, but they have a profound effect on somebody. And that's a lot. And as Dadi Janki said, we live with others' blessings. So I think I'll take a pause here. Harsha bhai, you let me know if we should be doing a bit of meditation now, since it's 7.
Yeah, it will be nice if you can take us to that place. How did you feel the first time you saw Brahma Baba? Oh, this is my father.
Sure.
Mhm.
So as I sit back, remember myself as a soul, and I connect with the Supreme. I give myself completely to Baba. And as soon as I connect, I feel the love, the light. I feel light. As I draw all the light from our screen and fill myself with the light. I feel empowered. I feel a soft yet firm hold. I am light, yet powerful. Calm and peaceful. I relax and my mind my intellect becomes calm and light. And I'm connected to the Supreme Light. As I continue, remembering my Father, the love that He fills me with, I become more and more peaceful. I am carefree that I'm connected to the light. As I fill myself with light, the powers, peace, calm, and happiness, I feel contented. As I fill myself I become light, yet remaining in my self-respect and connected to the Supreme Light. I remain connected to the light. And as I bring back myself to this awareness, the peace, the calm, light flows around me and beyond me. I am light and I'm connected to the Supreme Light. Om Shanti.
So, in our life, as we go through this journey of life, we come across different people, starting with our mother, father, brother, sister, family, right? Who are close to us. That becomes our basis of how we feel. Yeah. And as we move forward, uh, one after the one person will be replaced with other, and then slowly, right? And once we get married, and once you have a husband and you have children, so you slowly start shifting your basis of your stage, inner sense of contentment, sense of happiness, based on that settings like husband, children, family, house, right? So one of the key member who creates that atmosphere leaves the body, and whatever from traditional background, the expectation is the man will be always there in the house and then always there as a support, and that support pillar is missing in that family setting, and it all falls on one person, and it is a big shake. It is kind of earthquake inside our inner stage, right? So it may be a husband, it may be a child, it may be somebody else who is very close to you, it may be your own grandmother who is in her 90s and you're taking a lot of emotional support from her or your parents. So through our journey, we will keep connecting and losing relationships, and sometimes some relationships are so strong that it will shake up, right? So in your journey, you might have come across some of these incidents. What did it feel like when this incident happened? And what helped you to stabilize your life back? And what is it that you are doing internally that helped you to come closer to Baba? And what is it that one should do to take support from Baba? Because Baba will send help from all sides. But I should be in a receiving mode to accept that love and support coming from Baba, right? And if you can shine some light around how do we stabilize ourselves, and then ideally if we can go beyond this worldly supports and learn to take support from Baba, who is always there, always will be, and from a very spiritual deep inner connection, how do we build that kind of stuff? If you can shine some light on that, that will be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when my husband left his body, I was not in Gyan. I came into Gyan after that. But after that, my mother-in-law, who was very close, we were very close. And my mother, my father, and my mother, my mother-in-law, they have been, these people have left body when I was in Gyan. And most recently is, of course, my mother. So, yes, when they leave body, because we are all humans, we do feel shaken. And since we are still here, we are not yet perfect. So it did affect me initially when I was in Baba's Gyan. Any such news would make me uncomfortable for some time. But now that we are in Gyan, it has helped a lot because we know where the soul goes. Is just, the drama is such, the accounts and everything that Baba explains to us. But again, as I said, remembering Baba, it's not that easy. And I had an opportunity to explain to my family members and some others who have also lost very close people to them, friends, family, that it is hard. You cannot sit and remember Baba, but Baba has given us different methods. And I will come back to Murli. Murli has always helped me. I go back to Murli. If I cannot read the whole Murli, I'm not in a situation where I can sit and read the whole Murli. I will at least read few lines, and I will try to focus my mind to Murli rather than anything else. Because I can't sit and remember Baba as Bindi and I'm a Bindi. At that certain times, it's hard. It's easier said than done. And so I have focused on Murli, reading about Baba, or if it is possible, nowadays it's possible to listen to YouTube Murlis by Moini Didi, or even Dadi's Murlis, and they help a lot. So I think that Murli is the answer, and what has helped me personally is again Murli. Baba's words, and it may be the same day Murli. Now we get the same day Murli. Previously, we used to have hard Murli, and hard copy Murli, even if they were some old Murli of some other year, there would always be something. It's my experience that there would always be something that was relevant to what was happening to me, and I would get the answer in that. So when I think there are times in our lives that we come across, and the most difficult ones are the loss of the dear ones. I think Murli is our answer, and as much as we can, we should. My experience, my personal experience is Murli has helped me.
Thank you. And so we a good number of us are fortunate enough to experience the sense of love Baba gives us through the Murli. And before major things happen and we start losing hope in life and things like that, we already have tasted something which we can never lose hope on. So that helps us to fall back. It's not actually fall back, but it's actually take support of to get through those things, that transitioning things, temporary things that comes and goes. But how about any suggestion for those who are coming fairly new into Gyan now, and they're not in that bad shape, but they haven't learned to taste the love of Baba through the Murli? Any suggestion that you can share which helped you to feel love of Baba when you're listening to Murli? Any mindset that you hold that helps you to feel? Like one thing that you already mentioned, that when you look at Brahma Baba's picture, the physical resemblance helps you to feel the fatherly figure and your fatherly experience with your Laukik father, that sense of support that you can take as you're listening through Baba's Murli. But of course, you'll take it not just Laukik father, but to an eternal father. So if you can share some of the mindsets that will help us to experience the taste of Baba's love through the Murli.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think here is what I would say. When I came new, I didn't know any Murli. I was still getting to know Baba, but I think those who are new nowadays, when I know I sound like an old person, but these days we have YouTube and different avenues, and if that helps, because this is a digital age, if it is helpful. I don't know how much it helps when your internal mind is not at rest, but still, if something is playing and if something touches you, it's a good way. But I think that communication, I think coming in contact with Brahmin souls who have been with Baba, I think for me, when I came new, when I was not, I had everything actually. We had a home, we had everything, but of course, when you don't have the most dear person near you, you feel everything is empty. I think that the love, you have to feel closeness to Baba's family. And that's where sometimes I have realized that holding on to something, no matter, be persistent. Like even listening on Zoom, coming to sessions, any session that centers have, and keeping in touch, no matter what. I think persistence is the key. And you might connect to somebody who matches. There are so many of us. You may not get along with one, but there may be somebody very close to how you are. And if there's love, uh, there are lots of ways in which you can connect. And as love gets stronger, the bond gets stronger. then I think it helps. So for the people who come new, who are digitally oriented, they might use the digital ways. And for those um, who are more of human touch, I know even though it's through digitally, coming on Zoom and just listening, sometimes not reading, but just listening. And it, even for a few minutes, might just change your mood. It does help. I have taught in colleges and community colleges, and I've seen even at workplace now, I have co-workers who go through very difficult time, and even a phone call and just speaking, just recently one of my friend has lost her mother, and she called me first, and I feel very fortunate because she thought of me. So all I had to say were all the kind words, and just reminding her that there's somebody to love. Um, I think that helps. Um, Even if it is, if you don't want to read Murli, if you don't know Baba, I think getting in touch through one way or the other with people, there's something, there's kindness, there is sharing, I think that happens. We as humans, um, and having gone through, some of us have gone through all these things, have gone through difficult times, and I have different times, but there could be somebody else with different difficult times. And we have all passed our little test and become conquered it, found a way to overcome it. And even if we can share one small word and just saying some kind words, it helps. So I think maintaining that contact, persistence, and might help. These are just my suggestions. I think they have helped for me. They have helped for people around me, my friends, my coworkers. So I'm just sharing. So if you're not yet so attached to knowledge, you're still getting used to Murli, but still continue keeping in touch with Baba's family, and still listen to Murli. Even if you don't want to focus, I think there's always, as I said, I go back to Murli again. There's always something, some word, one or a couple of words, that might just bring you back to, change your mood, make you happy.
Thank you for using that word mood, like especially when we keep that aim, it will help us to grow forward. Like when you are coming to Murli, you're not just listening, you're not coming to Murli because it's one more task to do in a day. No, you're coming there and then enjoy that and then validate that, is it uplifting your mood and stuff. And definitely the second thing, I would just want to reiterate what you have mentioned, is the power of community, and especially reaching out to people, especially Brahmin families. We are so fortunate to have Brahmin family who have gone through tough times, but they have figured out a way to get out of it. They're not ignoring or denying the pain that they have gone through, but they have figured out to dissolve that pain with Baba's love. And especially reaching out, sometimes people just close down. Just reaching out to the help that we have itself will go a long ways in coming back to normal. Thank you very much. If you can share some of your personal experiences on that same lines that you had with dadis are the powerful role models that we have in our family. If you can share some of your personal experiences with daddy.
I know all of us have, I'm just sharing a few things, all of us have been through times, but I would definitely like to share my times with dadis. I was very fortunate. I came at a time when I met Dadi Gulzar in my first visit to Madhuban, and I got her drishti wholeheartedly. And even after Bap Dada's meeting, I could go and meet her in the cottage, and I actually got Toli from Baba's plate. So I was really fortunate. At that time, I thought, oh, she's there. But now, reflecting back, how fortunate was I? Another thing was I spent a lot of time with Dadi Janki in London and during the Rakhi time. And I even got to spend a lot of time one-to-one with her. And she was speaking Gyan all the time. And every time she asked me, in Hindi, kuch puchna hai, like, do you have any questions? I was just so happy to see her and listening the Gyan from her. Sister Jayanti was sitting next to her and she was sharing Gyan and Baba, and she was actually speaking that day's Murli, and I was just absorbing it. But every time I was watching her speak, and it's amazing that my son was quiet too. He was not mischievous. It's just how her vibrations were, and she was in remembrance of Baba, and she was giving me so much of love and peace. I was feeling so full, and there were so many sentences that she spoke that have just gone straight right here. And I felt so fortunate now that I didn't have to stand in any line and to meet her in the cottage or anything. So I got direct knowledge sentences from her, and she was speaking to me, and it's amazing that she tied Rakhi to me. I was just on cloud nine actually when I went to London, and I was with her and Sister Jayanti. And Dadi Prakashmani, oh my God, it just love. I went to Shantivan and I went and visited her in her cottage, and she made my son sit on her lap and was loving him and talking to her like Lokik Dadi. It was so amazing. She was like fully like a child. She was asking him questions like little children, kya khayega, kya pasand hai, like daddies ask. And I was so amazed. And he was having his great gala time with her. He pulled that shawl that she was wearing, and it was just like going to Dadi's house. And I was very fortunate to have met them like that. And I saw the simplicity, the love. Both of them were pouring love. There was so much love. I think love was the main thing. And that's how I was more focused on them. And Dadi Gulzar, she was like royal. Now we see the royals, especially, they talk about queen and everything. But when I observed Dadi Gulzar, she got down from the car in front of me, her walking, and she walked so slowly, and then she gave that loving drishti for a long time. And all I said was Om Shanti, and she stopped and gave me all the attention. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just so new, but there was just love. She only saw the soul, and she was just pouring all the peace and love. And I feel very fortunate. So I could meet all the three dadis and got so much love every time. So I think all these things that come into our life, they sustain us. When we go through the difficult patches in our life, we remember whatever they have said. Like Dadi Janki, I will never forget, she had said that in one of the classes that she was giving, that every time I climbed down the stairs at home too, I remember that Baba said to her, why are you running down the stairs? You should go slowly down the stairs. There was gyan in every sentence that they spoke, and it was knowledge being given to us too. If we remember every little task and everything that we do, and we correlate it to Baba's Gyan, it deepens in us. And if we apply that, it is seen. We don't have to speak knowledge. It's been my experience at work that I see people are very unhappy and shouting and yelling, and sometimes, I mean, they're frustrated and things like that. Especially in meetings, when something project doesn't go happen on time, or we don't read our scheduled milestones, they are always upset, frustrated. And I remain quiet. I had come across, and I would like to share this because this is really what touched me. We had a superior who was not very good in manners, and she never apologized for her behavior. It was below her dignity to apologize for any wrong that she did. And she was frustrated with one of the projects. And because I was the project manager, she called me in and she was just bombarding. And I was so fortunate that I just remembered Baba and I stayed quiet and I was just in silence. I never took anything in. And I thank Baba for that, because I don't know what Baba played his magic. I was quiet, but nothing went in. It's just amazing when we are with Baba, what magic he plays every time. And she was saying so many things. But nothing went in. And so she stopped and she said, I was calm. And she said, how can you remain so silent when I'm saying all these things to you? And actually, I had not heard anything, but I said, all I said, that you're not in a mood to listen to me right now, so I will come back later. And when she came back to my office and she said, I apologize for my behavior. And everyone was surprised because she never apologized. This is Baba's magic. And she was the one who asked me to conduct one time a meditation during meeting. So how Baba touches the soul and makes it happen, it's amazing. I mean, I didn't do anything. I just sat there. But it is amazing that because we are in Gyan, and if we apply that in our regular life, and if it helps somebody, it's very fulfilling. Somehow you feel contented that, let the soul be relaxed rather than all the time being in frustration, which is not good for anybody, not for themselves for sure. And I think these little things that we learn in our Gyan, when we use it everywhere we go, then it's very helpful. It has helped me. I had a very busy time recently, and I was pretty calm. And my sister was like, there's so many things to be done, and why are you so calm? And I said, they'll be done. But that's how it is, being with Baba, that we know there's always a time for everything that happens, and drama happens accurately. And knowing this knowledge has been so helpful. It helps us to be calm, to be patient, and also helps us to help others. I think, the way, that's why I think Baba says in Murli that every action you do, remember that there's somebody going to follow that action. So these are some things that I think, again, Murli, Baba, we wouldn't be here today if Baba wouldn't be with us. That's my final say. It's Baba who has changed me 180 degrees, has helped me through, and has helped me to use the knowledge. If I can be of any help to anybody, that gives me more contentment. And I will never forget what Dadi Janki said. we are sustained by the blessings. We give blessings and we get blessings. Like Baba says, the more you give, the more you get. So it's everything is like that. And it's wonderful that we are all in Baba's Gyan. We know Baba. We know the real Gita. Um, and we apply it in life. People say that when you use Gita in life, all your path is very safe. And right now I feel I'm on path that is just taking me to a beautiful new place. And I stop and I take the fragments of the flowers. We are so fortunate we are not in the race that others are in and are trying to um, pull down and go up and make somebody unhappy. Our priorities are so different. We are ordinary, but as Baba says, you're extraordinary, and it gives an immense satisfaction. It is so fulfilling that uh, if I can, if it just by being me, I'm helping myself and I'm helping everyone around me, and even the nature. I work for the environment, and it's so important just being calm and giving peaceful vibrations around us, especially in California, with all these fires and the unpredictable weather. If we just sit and give calm, peaceful vibrations to the nature, a collective effort will definitely help. And slowly but surely, all the souls are getting the message through vibrations. And so many now are, getting as Baba is saying, it's the experience time, it's seva through mind. It is helping. And I think this phase of us, all of us, going through service through mind is really an important part that we are playing. We are doing seva through all ways. We are speaking, we are doing, but I think Mansa Seva is the most important one. Experiencing, giving the experience, people feel it more than just the words. And I think we are fortunate that we are in a family where we can speak all these things and help each other and make it happen, and feel ourselves so fortunate that we are chosen by God Himself, to help Him in His task. And that's the highest. It just the thought gives you so much of intoxication. It just changes again, as you said, the mood. Oh my God, I'm so important. I don't need to reach a position or get a position. I'm already given such a higher position by God. What else do I need? As Suraj Bhai says, I have God by my side. Do you know who is with me? People give their references to prime ministers and president, and we have God. So it just changes. By the way, the president of India is also Brahma Kumari, which is very nice. So it's nice to see how souls we are all coming together. I like this coming together and doing the service together in Mansa Seva, service through mind.
Thank
Even
you.
I've been speaking a lot. I don't speak so much. So is there, if there are any questions, I know we are nearing the close time.
Yeah,
If there are any questions, I'm open to answer.
if anyone have any questions or comments, please leave it in the chat or raise your hand. You can unmute. So it's really beautiful, Nina Ben. So coming back to the topic of how do we thrive in the times of uncertainty, things will change, things will surprise, you'll feel as if you're running into a wall. But if you can maintain a good stage based on spiritual experiences, and if you have a good mood, I mean, to dial down, to water down the stage to a good mood, if I can create that good mood by listening to Baba, listening to Gyan, staying with Baba's family, and that stage will help us get through the challenges. Yeah, definitely. If anyone wants to share anything, feel free to unmute yourself. And
Baba has already given us the blessings of conquerors. You know, we are Vigna Vinashak. We conquer, become the remover of obstacles. And He's given us the powers. Only if we can use them at the right time, we can conquer it. And it's just application. I know it's easier said than done, but He also tells us every morning how to do it. And if we do it with one point every day from His Murli, I think we will all surely and go follow His path and the way He wants us to.
thank you. Anyone wants to share any questions? Madhur Ben? Anyone? Cool. So if you can take us through a nice meditation where we can collectively spread the vibrations to this Mother Earth,
Sure.
that will be nice. Take us to Madhuban, take us to Dadis.
Sure. As I sit back at the end of this day, I remember that I am the most fortunate soul. My Father is the Supreme Soul. I remember the days of my childhood when I was holding my father's hand and he took me to his home, our sweet home, Madhuban. I am a soul sitting at this moment in Baba's hut in front of Baba, and I feel the love, the pure love of Baba. I am so happy. My happiness cannot be contained. I'm smiling and I feel light. I feel Baba's hand over my forehead, blessing me with all the powers I feel contented, happy, and light. I am with Baba. I remain in this state, light, peaceful, happy, with my Father, the Supreme Soul. I am a peaceful, victorious soul holding the hand of the Almighty Father. I come back to this awareness, maintaining the lightness, the happiness, and share it with everything around me. Om Shanti.